What is to me the most overrated is the real world. What I'm saying, sorry, I'm going back and forth to this real world back to New York. It was at the time where there wasn't no jumping the shark. There was no gimmicks. It was just like what these people were doing, how they were living their lives, and then they had a cool job to kind of go with that. And I think that one was one that I like. Real World Back to New York is a show that I would like to have been on. You know, I auditioned and made it further in the rounds to the Philadelphia season. But the New York one was probably maybe a little too young to do it, but not, or younger. But the Philly one I really would have wanted to get on. And the Philly one was like something that kind of like wasn't the greatest at the time. It kind of had a lull. But Philly actually, in my opinion, as a rewatch, it's not bad. Like it's a decent season. What is to me the most overrated is the Real World Austin. The way that they pumped Real World Austin was like, it was the greatest thing. And I'm just sorry. The Melinda and Danny was just such a waste of time. Like, I mean, I'm not saying it was a waste of time. I'm glad they were in love at the time. But the time spent on like how wonderful this is. It was a snooze fest. The house was ugly as can be. Remember those pastel colors of that house? And I'm only saying that because I think what happened was MTV realized, and maybe the numbers reflected this, Philly didn't do that well. Again, rewatching and as a timeless piece of work, the Philly season was really good. That was the season that Karamo was on. And of course, Karamo has had a huge success since then. One of the most successful, probably. He has his own show, so that's pretty successful. He's doing very well. But I think Philly did really bad. So like, I think when I remember the MTV marketing and the commercials and the ramp up of the new season, it was like, it was kind of like MTV's way of saying, but wait, okay, it's not, they didn't say this in the commercial, but okay, Philly, but guess what? Austin is going to be that season. And looking at it, Wes has done well on the challenge, but who did they have? Rachel had a story to tell. Melinda, oh gosh, I mean, I know when Melinda did the Real World Road Rules Challenge All-Stars, I was like, I don't see the need. Danny, I mean, he went through some stuff. He definitely did, not only with the, he had got hit and there was a lot of damage to his eye, but he also, I believe, had a interesting and strenuous relationship with his mother. I think it was his mother or a stepmother. And, you know, there's the scene where, you know, she had passed and, you know, he had to receive that information. So it was kind of like a snowball effect for him to go through quite a bit. So there was some stuff, but the house didn't look interesting. They had a cool job. They were working in production. I know Nehemiah on that season, he seemed to be the one that was most interested in that. But Nehemiah is somebody on that cast who was okay, I guess, on Austin, but has not really been compelling ever on the challenge. He's always right there with Wes, so they're really cool. And Wes has done very well, so you would think he'd be more interesting, but Nehemiah has not really ever been interesting on any of these challenge seasons. He does come back quite a bit because I think he's like well liked, you know, he's friends with Wes and probably friends with a ton of the other cast members. But in terms of, we're talking right now here today on being compelling, Nehemiah struggles a little bit on being compelling. He just does. I don't know what it is. He just struggles a little bit. But yeah, my whole point of that was Lacey was on the season. Lacey wasn't much there. Rachel, Johanna and Wes, they were kind of dating. It just didn't really seem like a season that gave a lot. And so coming after a Philly, which was I believe a poorly rated season, and then Austin supposedly being really a big, like, wow, like the you know, the audiences are gonna get a treat. I don't think they did. And you get so excited because you're like, Austin, like this live music capital of the world. And I believe their home was a converted warehouse or something like that. And so it had all the bells and whistles where it could have been good, but the house was one of the most beautiful decorated houses. It just did not look good. So they had a lot of bells and whistles. They just didn't have cast members that made sense. And that first episode did feel really good. I was like very optimistic about it. Going through a bunch of the seasons, yeah, they went to all these different places. I think they did Cancun. Do you remember they had a one-off movie called The Real Cancun? Was it The Real Cancun? I think it was. That was also a little bit interesting. But they went everywhere. They did the Cancun. They did a Sydney. You know, they did the London one, season 4, Another wonderful, 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 wonderful rewatch is London. You think London, coming off the iconicness, albeit challenging Pedro loss of San Francisco and even Puck. I mean, we had never seen on the television somebody like Puck. Coming off San Francisco into London, I think back in the day when those were airing on MTV, London didn't get its due, but I rewatched it, the whole thing. It's great.
Hey, Ronnie Jr.